I should do some videos for the public, the civilians, whatever you want to call them, as to why do truck drivers do this? Just so there's some kind of driver's ed or trucker's ed for the four-wheelers. Now, my first video will be, if I make a series of this, my first video will be of this new truck that I have. This is a 2024 Freightliner. Now the AI system in the 2024 Freightliner, or any Freightliner for that matter, is not near as good as the ones in the Peterbilts and the Kenworths. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with Kenworth AI. I don't think I have any experience with Kenworth AI. I do have experience with Peterbilt AI, but Peterbilt and Kenworth, pretty much the same thing. Kenworth is just a generic Peterbilt. So, this truck, this phone call might interrupt this video. Hang on. That phone forwards to this one. Almost done. Okay. I don't know if you heard anything while the phone call was ringing. But anyways, so this truck, I don't know if you can see it, has a radar system on it. So the car in front of me is doing, well, was doing 75 miles per hour. Oh, he blinked on and blinked out. 76. It is 420 feet. My following distance is 4.5 seconds. My cruise control is set for 70 miles an hour. Now, if I come up on a vehicle and they're doing less than 70, then this truck will auto adjust to the vehicle in front of me. Hang on. Turn that annoying
There are objects on road ahead
thing off. So I'm running Google Maps, but Google Maps does not have truck route, so I'm also running Rand McNally. Google Maps just tells me the best route, and if it looks like a truck route and Rand McNally is telling me to take a different route, then I'll follow Google. But normally I only use Google for traffic updates like this: object on road ahead, accident ahead, construction, how long is the backup, where the cops are if anybody reports them, so on and so forth. Now they have new updates about, flooded or frozen roads and stuff, but they took away stalled vehicle. So now I have to use object on road in replace of stalled vehicle, which a stalled vehicle would be an object on the road, even though it might be on the shoulder. All right, back to this. So a lot of times people cut me off. So if they do, you can see that if they're within 2 seconds, they're too close. So this van might cut me off. I don't know yet. Nope, they ain't doing it. This four-wheeler might. Let's see what they do. Climbing a hill, coming up on another big truck, so maybe not. Oh, here he comes. Alright, he didn't quite cut me off, but still, he's at almost 1 second. So you want to be approximately 2 seconds following distance in front of somebody. So, let's see if I can do this. Alright, so I have my following distance set for 2.4 seconds. That's the minimum I'm allowed to do because I'm a company driver. Now, I can raise it to the standard, which is 3.6. So if I shut the truck off and fire it back up again, then this is the following distance, that the default following distance. I have to manually change it. I can only change it back to this. That's the closest I'm allowed to be. Which leads me to the reason of making this video. So, say I'm coming up on a slow truck like that guy I just passed. Oh, one more thing. This is what sucks about this company. I don't know if it's every company, if it's a factory default. Actually, it is a factory default, but a factory setting. But if I step on the throttle, it derates me to 66 miles per hour. So I have to manually bump that back up. Now, before, with the last truck, if I was coming up on somebody, the truck would slow me down naturally. But I could step on the throttle and stay at 70 miles an hour till I was right up on them and I had a chance to pass. Can't do that with these new trucks. So if I step on the throttle, it derates me to 66. So I'm stuck behind another truck unless two things. 2.4 seconds following distance is, I'm not exactly sure. It's about 200 feet, which, you know, if you unfold that, would be, you know, one side of 1 square acre. So 400 feet or 200 foot square would be an acre. Actually, it's 205 to be exact. We're pretty close, but yeah. Anyways, so that's almost, I don't know, how many feet are in a mile? We'll have to Google that. So, in fact, I can use that. I can use my other phone for that. Hang on. I'm gonna pause this. Well, my other phone sucks. Okay. I don't know what the problem is. I can't Google it. So we'll have to Google that later. Maybe I'll take a screenshot of it and put it on this video or something if I got time to edit it. I'm so busy, I ain't got time to edit videos anymore. I ain't got time to do anything anymore. So anyways,
3 miles,
so you can see,
exit highway right.
Coming up on this big truck would have been a good example. The cars, there's 3 cars behind the big truck. They slowed down to like 68. My truck ended up starting to derate to 68. I think that's the right word. It basically slowed down. It automatically adjusts the speed. Some of you people with newer cars will know what I'm talking about. Although, if it's your own personal vehicle, you have a little bit more control over what the vehicle does or is allowed to do. I'm a company driver, so I'm basically screwed. I'm subject to the company's parameters that they wish for the truck to go, or do, for that matter. Just like the truck, the optimized idle don't work unless it's over 90 degrees outside. So this truck gets freaking hot. In the spring and fall. Although I haven't experienced the fall yet in this truck, I've experienced the spring and it sucks. So I gotta hurry up and try to pass this guy. I'm passing a 4-wheeler with the trailer. I got 1.3 miles to the rest area to to go to the bathroom. But I might end up bypassing that because I really don't have to go. But I might be able to make it to the next rest area if there is a next rest area. Anyway. Alright, I'm just about past him. I still got 1 mile. Alright, moving over. Anyway. I'm starting to lose my train of thought. But that's okay. I was on the caboose anyway. So, if I'm coming up, so I was coming up on those cars and that truck. Now there was nobody behind me, no big deal. The truck was doing like 65, and then when it hit the hill, it started slowing down more because it's heavier than I am. Because I'm not exactly empty, but with this company, we take product out and then we bring recyclable material back. So all I have on board now is pallets and gaylords full of garbage or recyclables material. So anyway,
slight right.
Doesn't look like there's really any parking over here, so we'll pull up here. This rest area is kind of a pain in the butt to get in and out of.
In 800 feet, merge onto I-70 West.
Ah, crap. Oh,
In
shit,
600
that's a handicap.
feet, merge onto
Don't
I-70
want to park
West.
in the handicap, even though I'm only going to be here for 2 minutes. Alright, I'm going to pause the video while I take my bathroom break. I'll be right back. Okay. Oop.
Enter highway onto I-70.
This rest area is all kinds of jacked up. So I was going to try to make it to Warrensburg since I can't make it home tonight. I'm supposed to be home tonight, but I'm not going to make it home tonight. So, I'm just trying to get as close to home as I can.
Continue on I-70 West for 26 miles.
And then I'll do the rest in the morning. So anyways, like I said, the default speed on this is 66. If I step on the throttle and I'm doing 70, it'll slow me down to 66. So, speed that up. So that person got in front of me, they're doing 65, 64, 63, 62. So now I got 60. Now I want to get out and pass 59. Idiots. So I got to get out and pass. But I got people coming up on me, so I can't really pass. Now they're doing 65. Now they're doing 68. So I'm not going to pass them. There's no way. I only got a 70-mile-an-hour truck. They're at 2.6 seconds following distance. So at this point, now they're doing 64. At this point, if I jump out, I'm impeding traffic. Now this is how far I am away from passing them. I can't get any closer. My truck won't let me. So I'm this far away. I have no choice but to either stay over there and do 60 miles an hour, or I jump out and it takes me a quarter mile. That's what it feels like anyways. Tenth of a mile. It takes me a tenth of a mile just to catch up with them. And then, or 2/10 of a mile. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I have to Google how many feet are in a mile. So now I'm finally catching up to them. I got at least one person behind me. So, if they got a newer truck and they jump out what seems like a tenth of a mile, a quarter of a mile before they pass somebody, and you're like, what the fork is this guy doing? Why is he in the left lane? Da 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 da. Just give him a second. I don't know how fast the two are going, because, you know, okay, here we go. Swift's gonna jump out in front of me now and derate me. So he's doing 64. Now, it's not really, I mean, it was courteous of him because the other guy's jumping on. And so it was courteous of me to slow down to let him over because the other guy was trying to jump on the highway. So now that he jumped back over, my truck automatically sped back up to 70 miles an hour. So it's going to take me a minute to pass him because we're going downhill. But once we start going back uphill again, I'll pass him pretty quick because he's only doing 64, 65, but he's probably heavier than me. So he's doing faster downhill, but slower uphill. 60-minute warning. So I only got 1 hour left, and I'm an hour and 17 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes from Warrensburg. So I'm not going to make it to Warrensburg. So I'm just going to try to make it as far as I possibly can. There is a pilot up here at Missouri 13 and I-70. I'm going to try to make it there. Problem is, by the time I make it there might not be any parking. So if there's a rest area right before that, then I might just go there. Between 7 and 8, the truck stops start filling up. So you got to find a parking spot before 8 o'clock in most places. And in fact, on the East Coast, it's even sooner than that. Like somewhere between 3 and 5 p.m., the truck stops start filling up on the East Coast. So out here in the flyover states, it's a little bit more flexible. Anyway, so yeah. Now, some people, which I call assholes, and if you're a truck driver and you're hearing this, you'll know who I'm talking about. But anyway, they're like, if you ain't got the speed to pass, then you don't have no need to pass. And I get that to a degree. Alright? So, a lot of times we will all see these drivers, we call them handicapped drivers, because we are handicapped. Some of us are more handicapped than others. We got castrated trucks. Mine will only do 66 or 70. Or between 66 and 70 because of my handicap. So, if I'm coming up on a 67 mile an hour truck, it's really stupid for me to try to pass because my truck ain't got the balls to pass unless I'm light and they're heavy, or vice versa. So I might be able to pass them on an uphill or downhill, but otherwise I might as well just let my truck derate me and just run with him or her. So it's not until I run into a truck that's doing less than 66 miles an hour do I actually try to pass, typically speaking. Because if they're doing 65, well, I can put my foot in it and I can do 66 and I can slowly catch up to them. And then if there's an opportunity to pass, I can jump out and then bump my cruise back up to 70 and pass a little easier. But I'm closer. You know, if I'm all the way back here and they're all the way up there at 2.4 seconds following distance, which is about 250 feet, it's going to take me a minute to pass them, especially if they're doing like 68, 69. If they're doing 66, 67, like I said, it depends on the situation. I might try to pass. Like this guy coming up. Let's see how fast he's doing. Oh, he's doing 65, 66. Let's see how fast he's doing on a hill. He's pretty light. He's doing pretty good. So on the hill, he's actually speeding up 67 miles an hour. So 66, 67. So this guy is a guy I'm probably not going to pass because I'm screwed, basically. It's going to take me too long to pass him. So I'm stuck. Stuck like Chuck. So we're at 3.8 seconds. once I get at 3.4 seconds, my truck's going to slow down. It's actually going to start slowing down at 3.6, but it really slows down at 2.4. And it just won't let me go any more than 66 miles an hour. That being said, I might have an opening here in a minute. So, here we go. 66, 2.6 seconds following distance. This is how far apart we are. Oh, somebody's passing me. So now I gotta wait. Alright, looks clear. It's gonna be a minute before somebody catches up to me. So I'm gonna pull out. My truck's automatically gonna speed back up again. This person's doing 82. They're already at 2.4 seconds following distance, so now my truck will speed up. So it won't speed up until, so that's the other problem. So if I jump out behind somebody who's only doing 70, it's going to take a minute for my truck to start accelerating because of the following distance. It will force me to wait at least 2 seconds before it will start speeding up again. So that's another dilemma. You know, so it's like, and then if somebody flies around me and cuts me off, well, that just messes it up even more. Now it's going to take me even longer to pass this person or the next person or whatever. So, yeah. These new trucks are kind of cool, but they're also kind of a pain in the butt. I don't really know what else to say, but yeah, if you see a truck driver pull out with a newer truck, and a lot of these company trucks are newer trucks because they recycle their trucks every few years. Once it reaches like 300, 400,000 miles on it, they recycle it. They trade it in and get a newer truck. And then a smaller company or an owner-operator will go buy that truck with 400,000 miles on it. Which is not really a bad deal for the owner-operator or the other company, because after about 150 miles, it's broke in. But after about 400 miles, it starts requiring more maintenance. So it just depends on how much money you got in your pocket if you can get through the maintenance phase. So make sure you get a good deal on the truck if you're buying a used truck. Okay, this guy's going real slow. I don't even know how slow he's going. I'm jumping out. I wasn't paying attention to the radar. But yeah, and I can feel it. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can feel it. When the truck slows down, I look in the mirrors, see if I can pass. But, I mean, you can just, when you've been out here 30 years, you can kind of feel, you know, how fast somebody's doing and whether or not you got the opportunity to pass. If you come up on them real slow, they're just barely doing slower than you. You know, I just started getting this radar system, so I never had this before. Now, I take that back. I have had the radar system, but I haven't had it where it would tell me how fast the vehicle in front of me is going until I came here. I can't remember if the last truck did that, but I know this truck obviously does that. So, it's a new feature. I'm not sure if the Peterbilts do that, but I know the Freightliners do. Anyways, the Peterbilts have a lot better setup than the Freightliners do. It's less annoying, it's more efficient, but this is a Freightliner. This is what I'm stuck with. I'm a company driver, so there you go. But yeah. Yeah. So you see a truck coming up off on another truck. Chances are these newer trucks have radars in them where we can see how fast they're going. We know how close we're allowed to get before the truck will start slowing down. if we jump out what looks like to be premature, give us a minute. I don't know, like I said, they may be only doing 1 mile an hour slower than the other truck, or faster, or whatever. But, you know, if the driver is smart, who's doing the passing, they won't jump out at a 1/4 mile or a 1/10 of a mile if they're only going to pass at 1 mile per hour, unless nobody's around. I was trying to do that in the beginning, but it's just so frustrating, I gave up. So like I said, if they're doing 66, 67, I might maybe pass, maybe not try to pass. It just all depends. If they're doing 68, 69, it's not even worth my time, because it's just frustrating. It's too frustrating for me and the public, to everybody else. But yeah, and I try not to jump out in the front of a bunch of people to pass another truck if it's doing more than 65, because I know it's going to take me, I don't know, at least, you know, a minute or 2 minutes to catch up with them, let alone pass them. And then I have like 15 cars behind me, all pissed off, and then some people are flying around me on the right, cutting me off, slowing me down even more, and then flipping me off and doing all this crazy shit around me. And it's like, I'm just trying to pass this slow guy in front of me, just like you're trying to pass me, but you don't understand what I'm trying to go through, or what I'm going through, and you don't understand that I have no control. I either have to slow down and be stuck behind this slow ass person, or I have to jump out prematurely and try to pass as quickly as I possibly can and try not to impede traffic. But like it says, you know, a lot of people out there are ignorant, and I don't mean ignorant in a negative way. I mean ignorant as in uneducated. That's what the Bible, that's what the dictionary says. Ignorant stands for uneducated. So that's what this video is for, is to educate the public on why a driver with a newer truck might jump out like a 1/10 of a mile or a 1/4 of a mile before passing somebody, because they have no choice if they're going to pass. Either that, or they got to slow down, and then they're frustrated because they're doing 5 miles an hour slower than what they could be doing, and then their dispatcher's breathing down their neck. Why are you going so slow? Why aren't you there yet? We got to make this deadline. Da-da-da-da-da, bull crap. It's like, well, don't give me this fucked up truck and I'll be there on time. But anyways, they don't care. They don't care. So, yeah. That's another thing a lot of people don't realize is, you know, it's like these companies, okay, we're coming up on a FedEx truck, it's doing 63 miles per hour. Well, the car behind it's doing 63. A lot of these companies will play the dispatcher and the safety department against the driver. So the safety department's like, oh, if you get tired, pull over. It's unsafe to drive fatigued. Don't drive fatigued. And then we're gonna go ahead and pull out. This guy's doing 73. Anyways, don't drive fatigued. If you get tired, pull over. Safety first, safety first, safety first. And see this, I might get somebody coming around me on the right and cutting me off. I only got one car back there right now. I'm at 2.5 seconds following distance. But then the dispatcher will push you to break the rules. Dispatcher will be like, oh, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. They'll breathe down your neck, give you guilt trips, manipulate you, do all kinds of crazy shit, try to get you to break the rules to get there as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, you ain't got time to eat, you ain't got time to take a shower, you ain't got time to go to the bathroom, nothing. And if you get tired, you ain't got no, well, you got a choice. You're the master or you're the captain of the ship. But the dispatchers will make you feel so down and dirty, like you're a horrible person, if you stop and take a power nap when you're tired. So you can't do that either. You can't stop and do anything because the dispatcher's breathing down your neck. And then if you screw up, now you're in big doo-doo with the safety department. And then the dispatcher will be like, I never said to do that. No, I would never do that. I would never tell you to drive tired. I would never, whatever. They play victim or whatever, like you're blaming them and they didn't do anything wrong when they did. But a lot of, I don't know. I used to have a recording app on my phone where I could record the conversations, but it ended up messing up and I can't do that no more. However, I might install it again and see if they fixed the bug, because I uninstalled it because it quit working. We're coming up on a 60-mile-an-hour zone. This guy ahead of me is doing about 63, so my truck will automatically slow down. I don't have to worry about adjusting my speed. That's the nice thing about the trucks, is if you're in like rush hour traffic or any kind of traffic, you ain't got to worry about it. Your truck will adjust the speed for you. And, you just got to kind of babysit it. But otherwise, it pretty much does the job for you. Just got to make sure it does its job. So that's about it. But anyways, so yeah, just so you know why we do some of these things, that's why I'm making this video. Anyways, alright, party on.